You're watching the review of Liberian Newspapers headlines that made news during the week on the Bottom Line Liberia. Please join us every Tuesday and Friday at 7 p.m. Liberian time, 8 p.m. UK time, 9 Central European time.
This is the Bottom Line Liberia. Join us on Facebook, YouTube and online radio. This is the Bottom Line Liberia. Join us on Facebook, YouTube and online radio.
This is the Bottom Line Liberia. Welcome to the Bottom Line Liberia. Welcome, Jamal. It's good to see you.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Good to be here. I was here last night. I think we had a nice discussion last night, and it's good to be here to do a follow-up, Paul.
Yes. It's good to be here for another fascinating discussion tonight, and I'm looking forward to the discussion. Before we get into it, how you been? How is the great city of Manchester?
Very, very warm situation right now. It's extremely hot right here in Manchester. But anyway, everybody's going half naked now in the city. Manchester is hot. You can't help it, man. You have to you can't just walk in the street. If you see guys no shirt, see women with no clothes, one in the bras and the bikinis, walking all around in the street, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. That is the beauty of the Western world. When it's extremely cold, it's cold. When it's hot, and then everybody can. And we got it right in Africa. What rainy CCO, dry CCO, the temperature always the same, unless. Yeah. And then when it's raining, people say, "Oh, it feels a little bit cold," but that cold you can go with t-shirt. Unlike here. When it's hot, it's extremely hot. So to our viewer, I want to say welcome to the Bottom Line discussion. Tonight, we'll be looking at issue and reviewing the newspaper of Liberia. And Jamal.
Yes, sir.
What say you before we get into our discussion?
We got a couple of newspapers. We'll be looking at newspaper from Daily Observer, the Africa from Front Page Africa, the Independent, as well as the New Republic newspapers. They carry the major headlines during the week. And since today is Wednesday, we'll be looking at what the major stories are making news in Liberia. And it will also, if you are joining us, any way you join us, please make a comment. Drop your comment. We'll read it if you have the time. If you have questions, to raise your questions. We are just here to share what was published in the paper. Probably you have heard it or have read it. And we just want to give our thoughts on it as well. So if you have your thoughts, share with us. We'll share with the audience.
And to our audience, please share the show. Please share the show. It's very important tonight. So I see Linfa is also watching. Linfa, can you share the show while you're watching as well? So, Jamal, yesterday discussion, we talked about, I did talk about Liberian athletes that are going to represent Liberia in the Paris Olympic.
Mm-hmm.
These young men and women are trying their hardest best to put Liberia on a map. And I just there was a qualification that took place in Cameroon, Yaoundé.
Mm-hmm.
They done well. I just want you to talk to me about these athletes. This young man on my right hand side, maybe your left hand side, is called Joseph Hamule.
Yeah.
And the two ladies, man, they keep doing something. Mr. Famula won the first gold medal.
Yeah. He was I think in the Olympic last year, he missed the opportunity, came I think third or fourth in the line. And we expect he was a great guy, great athlete, and he got the powers of speed. He has it. I don't know. It was just unfortunate that he was denied in the last Olympic, that he couldn't get the opportunity. But then when he went to represent Liberia, this time we knew that when he got on that pitch, and now he's going to make Liberia proud, and he did it. Formula is no surprise. I think if you give him the opportunity, he will deliver. We should give him all the full support. These young people are there using our own resources to train and get there, and Liberia should take the credit. If Liberia is taking the credit on their shoulder, on their back, we should give them the salute. We should salute them. Great people. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, this is amazing. The guy won gold medal. You see Nigeria, they are one of the Nigeria, Kenya. Wow, which other country that in Africa that when it comes to these things,
South Africa.
And for Liberia to be among them, that this family boy is pushing. could you imagine he won a gold medal in the qualification? And the ladies you see over there also, they took bronze. So
And
it just,
this guy formula was born September 11, 2001. That's his record.
yeah,
So
yeah,
very young man, and there to represent Liberia that he has never even lived. I think he did, according to one of the stories on the BBC, like he did this because he wanted to do it because of his parents, I think mother lineage or dad lineage. This is why he's doing it for. I think he's live in the US and he's
yeah.
doing this here. So we really need to give it to him and say thank you very much for what you've done for Liberia and putting our country on the map again. First time in history. Never heard of it, that we have won a gold medal in any African athletics championship, and now talking about going to the World Championship, which is coming up in Paris very, very soon. So it's a good news for Liberia, great news for Liberia. We should be happy. We should celebrate this. Paul, look, not only family, the rest of the people that are making their way to the page, both in the sports for that matter, basketball, handball, kickball, whatever this game is. We say our hats off to you. Good, great job. You're doing your best. I know you'll get there. I know the government, you're able to look up to you and support in one way or the other. So you can, one thing, Paul, you can support, you can make Liberia proud. One thing I tell you, I always say this on the platform. Paul, sport is one thing that unites us. It doesn't have a boundary of religion, ethnicity, or political affiliation. Sports just connect everybody. That's what sport is. So families get on that page, you forget about political affiliation, religious background, as well as tribes or ethnicity. So sport is a good thing, which we should be encouraging. Sport should be encouraged. Youth programs that have to do with sports should be encouraged, so we can able to build a nation on these games. So people can also go out there and represent Liberia in good name, Paul.
Yeah. And for our viewers, I just want to show a little video of him receiving his gold medal. This is exciting time for Liberia. Although the government not doing well, but if a Liberian is doing something, we need to recognize this. Look at this.
Why they gave it the gold? They'll just tell a little bit background. He won the 100 meter. Men 100 meter. This is why you run. You have to run 100 meter in a minute. This is what Joseph won. So 100 meter, Liberia came first. I mean, this is a guy born 2001, September 11. He just won he's the Africa fastest man now. He's the Usain Bolt of Africa, Paul.
A Liberian.
Yes.
Well done, family. Well done. This is good. This is good. And all the Liberian kids could follow suit too. Look at it.
And we have, I think, there are 3 on our list. Yeah, go on. After that, we'll talk a little about who is after him. We got Cameroon came second.
Yeah.
He's a new man in command, the new African champion in men's 100 meters.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a little bit of more. I'll just talk about just to give you the background what's going on. This is the African Athletic Championship taking place, 2024, taking place in Cameroon. And Liberia won Liberia has the record as the fastest man in Africa, winning the 100 meter. That's 100 meter. And this is the number he won. He won it 10, that was a 10-second flight, 10.13. Done. The second person came after him from Cameroon by the name of what's the name? But a Cameroonian by Emmanuel Isime won 10.15, and followed by South Africa, Paul. South Africa came by the name Benjamin Richardson, who came at 10.17. So it's just three seconds between he and the second place winner. Liberia first, Cameroon, South Africa. So a great proud to Liberia. That's from the Africa Athletic Championship in Cameroon. Liberia has the record as the fastest man on the continent. Is from Liberia right now, Paul.
From Liberia. Great news. I'm excited to hear this. I mean, something good. You know, the thing is about Liberia, it just when we get into something, we always make headline and we can dominate. The same way with Josh, we are.
Yeah. I mean, this guy should have won this thing a long time. He's like, I think it was overdue, Paul. And did you see a performance in the last time he played at the Olympics? think it was the guy performance was great, and he was in the last 10 that was qualified to run. So he came, I think, 4th or 5th in that league. I need to follow that up. But that shows to you that he has a great talent. He got the powers to run. He just was denied, and this is an opportunity for him. He told us he's going to deliver it, and he has delivered. Liberia has a record today on the 21st of June. Family won the record as Liberia, the Africa's fastest male in the continent of Africa, at the point of 10.13. That's his record.
And they could do something in Paris to win the Olympic, to win a gold medal over there.
He stands as opportunities. That's a fear that ripping in the hearts of other people now. They're tricking. I mean, like going through that bone sound. There's a guy coming from Africa, right? Not only Africa, from West Africa, Liberia, to be specific, that's coming out to show us some pepper. So it's not only going to be in the hand of the Jamaicans anymore, neither the Kenya anymore, or in Africa, we call it the people that run that track right now is the Jamaicans have the records. We have other in Africa, South Africa, Nigeria, and other African countries, Cameroon as well. They're doing Ivory Coast and Ghana as well. But now Ghana was doing great, but now Liberia is taking the lead right now. I mean, this is marvelous. This is a great news for us. I mean, we need to celebrate this, and we hope to see him doing good in Paris. Paul, tell us, when is Paris, and we all need to glue to our telly to watch this young man displaying his talent in Paris. That's the Paris Olympic.
Yeah, I think Paris is just around the corner, around the same 25th or something. After this tournament, we're going straight after the European tournament, we're going straight into Paris. So it's just around the 20-something, I think 24th or 25th. And we'll be watching the young people, young boys and girls from Liberia. I mean, this is a good news.
Yeah, but I know to add to that, like I was saying, Africa's won the 4x400, 4x100 meter relay. Africa's won that. That's another good news for Africa's, because that's the 4x100. Like you get the baton to the other person, 4% to lead to the 100 meter. Africa's won, and that's our neighboring country. But the most prestigious, the most acclaimed record in the athletic is 100 meters run, Paul, and we got that.
Yeah, we got it. Yes, that's good. Anyway, having said that, in other news around the world, there's another family who is making headway in the UK, and this one, she's very political. Miata family, the daughter of Dr. H. Bremer family, and she is running to be member of parliament for the Labour Party, which I think Labour are going to win a landslide in the UK. And Miata family, she was once upon a time economic advisor to David Cameron when he was Prime Minister. So watch out for this beautiful young woman that making headway. She is a doctor. Think about it. She is coming on, and then pretty soon we'll have another family making history too in the UK. Just want to bring that in.
Yes, Paul. A little bit of what is Miata. I think if you follow Dr. Dr. H. Boyma family, who was the National Security Advisor to President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. I think this is his oldest daughter. I think this is one of his daughters, Dr. Miata family. I think named after his sister, the Miata family in Liberia. So born in 1979, she's 44 years old, Paul. And she's a PhD holder. At the moment, she's Miata Nema family. She's a Liberian born British. Born in Liberia, came to UK study and became a good economist. At the moment, she's the head of there's a group called she's managing a group called New Economic Foundations. New Economic Foundation, which is a think tank group that discusses economics in UK specific. So she's the managing director of that particular organizations, which is well respected, and her views are respected on the economy in UK. She was advisor to the former Prime Minister of David Cameron, as you said, and very respected in the African community, very respected in the big think tank in terms of economy of UK. and we wish her well. She's running to go into the parliament in a very African or black dominated community. So we wish well for Dr. Miata family, another Liberian born, British educated, and also a well respected in the economic think tank group in the UK, Paul. Paul, you're muted.
Yeah, I say we're looking forward to seeing how the election is on the 4th of July, at which time we shall have another family making history, while another family will be in the Olympic in the same July winning a gold medal. So those are news that we should welcome. I think it's good.
The thing about it is that the family, the other one was born in September 11, 2001, and the other was born September 9, 1979. So it's the same month, and it's with the same last name. So we give this a big hat off to the families. I think in the next 3 weeks, we should be celebrating another victory for Liberian born. Paul, by the way, there's another Liberian that was elected as mayor of one of the I think we'll be bringing that news. We said it last time. One Liberian is being elected as a mayor in one of the constituency in the UK, and we'll be bringing you news in a subsequent show. We'll tell you. We probably will try to grab the opportunity to have him on our show to discuss, him, who is he, and what he is bringing to the table in terms of his performance in the constituency. But we'll give you the name. A Liberian being elected as a mayor in one of the constituency in the UK. I think the last name is Collins. We don't know if we still gathering some information about him. One Collins has been elected as a mayor. He's a Liberian born British. I mean, he's here in the UK. He has been elected as a mayor in one of the constituencies in the UK. And that's another good news for us as Liberian living abroad, the Liberian diaspora. Paul, by the way, Miata coming to the picture. I mean, it's adding more to him. Dr. Miata Nema family. Born September 29, 1979. The lady at the age of 44 years is a PhD holder, an economist, and a well-respected in the economic think tank in the UK, and a former advisor to former Prime Minister David Cameron of the Tory party. Is now running to go in the parliament in the area in UK called the Peckham area. So she will go in for the Peckham, which is African Caribbean dominated community, where I think we see how to pull a lot of votes in that area. But let's see what happens. There's the opinion poll is saying that she's going to win hands down, Paul. Paul, you're muted, Paul.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, the woman she replacing she was very popular over there, so that is a Labour strong seat. So Miata family, we shall see her by the 5th of July, when the names are out, who won Commonwealth, Peckham, she will be the one. Anyway, let's transition a little bit. We're moving on to Liberia. This guy who was former Minister for Information Ministry, that George Weah did sack for his behavior. Eugene Fagon, who is now currently serving as the director of LBS. So before we get into the topic, LBS, is it owned by a particular group of people or is owned by the entire country? Jamal, talk to me.
No, the LBS are called ELBC, under the name ELBC. It was created by an act by the government. It's an agency, autonomous agency by the government. It's run by the government. It should be financed by the government. It's financed by taxpayer money. So every political party, every group, whether you are in the government or not, you have right to LBS once you follow the rules and regular terms and conditions of the radio station or the institution. You have right to the service. So that's just a little bit of ELBC or LBS, so to speak.
So it's almost like the BBC of in the UK that is owned by the taxpayer.
Yes, ELBC is a government-owned propaganda, a government-owned, let's say government-run company. It's run by government and it should be autonomous. It's created by an act. It was not something like set up by like an administration. It was created by art. It should be run like an autonomous agency. has its own management, but the appointment comes from the government. Those who run the ministry, the head should be appointed by the government, as well as the top ranks in that area should be appointed by the government as well. And that this is why the bad news is we don't make use of the ELBC or ELB or whatever TV and the radio station. It used to be those days when we benefited from those services, but now people turn to very private institutions to be the sources of news for our country. And ELBC should be the ultimate source for all Liberians. It's paid by the taxpayer. The people there are paid by taxpayer money. It's a government-run institution, media institution.
All right. So government-run institution. This is UG Fagon, and if you look down there, if you see UG Fagon here, the reason why this article is been on the front page Africa, he denied CDC of promoting their political, you may call it jungle on ELBS. So Yeke Koluba said the thing is ELBS is owned by all Liberians. There's no one should deny Liberian for using ELBS. So he have asked Fanatic Kofa, the speaker, to some of these guys to the house for questioning. The reason why I brought this out, this very far gone, when he was in the government, the former government, he was the one that used to come up with all sort of things until the American came on him, he was suspended from his post. Fagon had been in the post barely 6 months. Fagon have started again. Who is this guy? Talk to us, Jamal, this UG Fagon.
Yeah, Paul, I don't have the details of the story, but he denied CDC of the right to the radio or to the TV station or to the service, the ELBC service. Yeah. What we know of, whatever the Honorable Yeke is doing is that his duty as the member of the House to bring forth to question a minister or director that denies the right of other citizens use in the government facilities. And this is what we want to see, Paul, everywhere in Liberia. We were speaking about we'll come to that later on tonight, about the buses that brought into the country, where we expect the government to make some revelations or clarification on how it happened. And when these things are happening, like also happen to the Declaration of Access, when the government is not, the House is not calling those concerned or those in charge to answer questions regarding the some concern Liberians have, then it becomes an issue. If what Yeke is doing, other Liberians in the House can do that, other representatives and senators can do that, that would be a great thing. Eugene did deny CDC party of using the facility or the service of the ELBC or ELTV to send out whatever they had, political manifesto or political jingle. Well, they may have a reason. So we will expect Eugene to attend to the call of the honorable man to answer questions, so we know the detail of the story. But I know Eugene is a guy who is a diehard candidate for anything he gets into. He doesn't turn the other cheek. That kind of person he is. So we wait to see when he meets the House to answer a question regarding denying CDC the chance to use the facility. ELBC will be a good thing we want to know. So, but for me, I don't have facts on the story why he denied ELBC. We deny CDC the chance to use the facility or the institution for promoting their program or CDC propaganda machine. I don't know, but my thinking is there must be reasons why he did that, and if he did, he has to go and answer questions from the House. And we want this not only from ELBC, other government institutions, state government authorities, you over to the senators and the representatives. You call those people that are making those stopping our people, blocking our people for using these facility and answering questions to come and answer questions. So we should also be aware of it, Paul.
That's right. Also, I think it's a good call for Yeke Koluba, because if Fagon going to start like that, this is not a partisan stuff. So not because he was CDC member before he somersaulted to the UP. So yeah, we'll hear the story when the speaker summoned him at the House. Yeah. Okay. So, what do you have for us too before we move on to the next story?
Paul, this is the value of the president. This is our president worth. Our president, Honorable Joseph Numa Barker, worth $970,000 US. This was published yesterday by the newspaper called the Independent Newspaper. I'm sorry, this is from the New Public Newspaper. The president worth 970,000. That's the worth. We just want to tell you because this came from the assets he declared by the LACC, that is the Liberian Anti-Corruption Commission, making it public here that the president. This is a worth. How much our president worth? 970,000 US dollars. That when you say wealth, it comes with it's not physical cash. It has to do with the asset. Asset will be his properties that he possesses or he has in his possessions. Those are the property like his house, land, cattle, so whatever he has. And those are the things that make it farms. Those are the ones that the poor they value it and come to the 970,000 US dollars. So the president was living on a loan. Now I probably should be able to sell something to clear and pay off his debt.
This is a funny story. The president worth 970,000. And just today, I just Googled the richest people of Liberia. The president is one of the 5th richest men in Liberia. So I don't know what is going on.
Yeah, but Paul, you can't hold those stories. Those are people saying.
I just put in something there. If the world know that this guy is a rich man, and then LACC is telling all he worth this amount, that was just me, just laughable. That's what I'm trying to say.
Paul, yeah, you're right, Paul. But one thing you also need to know that people will jump out and may come with these calculations. There was a story I was watching. This guy called Bonner Boy, and he was having an interview. I think you heard that it went viral. He said, "People say he worth more than 2 million." He laughed. And he said he didn't even reach that level because people exaggerate. Where did you get the calculations from? How did you put the assets together? So those things.
You're right. This was the same allegation on George Weah that they say he worth $85 million, whereby when he was playing in Euro, he couldn't even sign a contract for 1.5 million. And so, yeah, you're right. So the reason why I was laughing is that if you Google now the richest people in Liberia, Joseph Barker is among the richest people. So, and then we're now looking at something here that this guy who been living on loan, he worth this amount. That's just.
This we should hold it as a tangible and accurate information, Paul, because it's coming from an authority and a concern and a world respected authority, which the Liberian Anti-Corruption Commission. I think we respected those.
I'm wondering.
Yeah.
In the assets declaration, he talked about he get cows and sheep. So those things, they don't eat them; they just there because it's all added to this value.
Yeah, Paul, what comes to, let me tell you something about those cattle. The cattle are something that they reproduce and they value them. When you reproduce, it's a product, it's something that reproduce and sell. So you value it, you can kind of put it into a value. It's a property. People that are using the husbandry, like animal husbandry, farms and stuff like that, they always value these are our property, they're assets. They are not physical cash. They are something like that.
But in the asset, he didn't declare farm, so I think the cattle might be sitting on someone's field.
Yeah, I'm just saying something. It may be on a land that these cattle are on land that they are reproducing and they sell. So they have people that come and value, appraise the properties and tell us from the LACC, I believe, will tell us how much these people worth. Like they will look at it. You don't just go to them, this is my money and this is my, how do you say that? This is what I have. This is my building, and they will ask you when you build this house, how much did you spend? And from there, they will value the house. Most of the property they appreciate. They will look at it and say, okay, from this time to that, they are very good, qualified, respected, certificated people that will value the properties, and will come out and say, this is the as of today, this is the values of the property. Then turn to asset. Asset can be physical cash as well. It can be properties. So we are not talking about physical cash the president has. We are talking about properties, things that you own, like land, cattle, house, whatever it is, farm, cars, all those stuff. But I don't think car would be part of it, or multiple vehicles would be part of this. This is why he worth right now. But what I was trying to say, Paul, the president said, I think a year and a half ago, that he's living alone. This shows to us that I don't know how much he lives on. He is owing debt, but the president can sell some of these properties to pay off his debt.
But this is why I'm going to say he have all these cattle, right, that worth those amount, and people eat those things in Liberia. He could not sell them to the people there because they reproducing. Not only he got pigs as well. So, and he said his upkeeping was you are living on loan. So if you have all of these things, and why live on loan?
Yeah, but Paul, you also understand that in economy or in finance, what they do more especially, people may have the money, but they'll go to bank and borrow money to mortgage. So instead of paying off the bank pay. So it gives them more value. It also protect them in many sense. So it has different intent. Not like he can pay a physical cash. He may have the reasons why he don't want to sell some of the property and pay off the debt, but probably he's trying to do, it could be in economic sense, like, okay, I live on loan and the bank will pay them while I'm trying to resell the property and pay off the debt. It could be a smart idea from the president, Paul.
Could be a smart idea from the president. Okay, so now we know that he worth 970,000. So
Yes.
when he leave office in the next 6 years, if he leave, they will know when we see the value, maybe that money will have increased to additional maybe 1 point some more million. So let's go far. Let's wait and see.
But before we transition, Paul, we were wondering that the president money for the past 12 years as vice president, or at least about, you were able to get into, if you calculate that, if what he makes, apart from what he takes home as a month end salary, should be at least by this time should have reached up to be a millionaire. But the president honored $1 million. He would serve.
You know, Jamal, I would say this is because this is what I'll say is laughable, because what happened, the president and vice president, the speaker, honor early, this president, vice president budget was $2 million a year. And that office were never audited to see how they spend their money. And you know, when you know how position, the vehicle that you ride, the security, even the food you eat, you don't pay for 12 years. So if his salary was just rolling, I just gave him this. So if he can tell the Liberians that he lived on loan, that loan thing would be one of the questionable things that people had on him. A sitting vice president, and the guy that was responsible for the group of 72nd, well, also there was a budget for that group. There was no accountability. And then he came and said he was living on loan. And now today we realize, that's why I say when I Google the richest people in Liberia, he fall among the richest, and there's a value attached to him. So LACC is studying all this. Have they do their due diligence to check on what these people have seen, or they just take it as a face value to publish it to the people? That could be another thing.
Yeah, Paul, you just said something which I think we need to clarify on. The whatever budget he was running for the office, that does not belong to him. That we're looking at what he takes as his pay. What was run, the group of 77, the budgets of his office was meant to use, and at the end of the day, should be depleted. Their amount should be finished. I mean, should be spent. What we're looking at, what he received as his pay, that is what goes to him. So if you look into that, then you are encouraging that the vice president should have stolen and keep some money.
But there was no audit on nothing. There's nothing showing that under his leadership, his stewardship, there was something done with those people. So I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, that's a different thing. That apart from his monthly wage or yearly annual salary, we should be looking at. The president was there for 12 years. There was no investigation into the funds that were given to him to manage certain groups, and his office.
So, Jamal, hold on. In the asset declaration, the president have a vehicle that he bought that cost $190,000.
No, but yeah, $190,000. Yes. Yeah, it's personal money, is it? It's not personal money. Yeah, so that's also has to do with status. I'm not defending it. I'm looking at it from a different point, Paul. It depends how you want to live. You want to buy expensive and armor cards, the card that are protected, that cannot be hit by RPG or bullet to hit him. You need to be protected. So he want to spend that on his security. Definitely that he want to spend 100 and some more thousand. That car will be customized for him. If it's from his pocket, his own money, it's up to him. It was given to him by the government, like how much the government put forward for.
But if it was given to him by the government, it can be part of the asset because it's after.
No, definitely not. Definitely, it will be his personal money. Though he can't add that to that's government's property. It can't be added to his assets. This is spent for his money. If the president has 170,000, at least he took another 180,000 out of that 170,000. So he's getting way lower than a millionaire. He's not a millionaire. So all what we've been talking or hearing about the president, he's not a millionaire. So the story from LACC, Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, our president is on $1 million. He's not a millionaire, and he has 970,000 worth, according to his asset declared to LACC. So let's leave it as it is, because that is a group that did a job, and we should respect that as it is. So we don't have any other authorities that can tell us how much somebody's worth except LACC. They've been close with the authority to do the investigation and find out who worth what.
Okay, I agree. But we just putting it. So whatever information out there that this man is a millionaire is just a lie. And there's a newspaper article that I got on me that in 2017, and that newspaper stayed up there, and that this president built an estate. It was a newspaper article that I have. So, and the amount that they said, for $25 million real estate was built. So that will be a discussion for another day so we take this as the value of this president. Let's move on. What's next?
We were looking at Paul. There's a story that came about. Probably we're going to talk about I think you got something to share concerning the something how to do our energy sector, Paul.
Oh, yes. Put this one down. Yes, it's regard to the World Bank giving Liberia additional loan, because for some reason we living on the World Bank. So, and there have been serious issue with the electricity situation in Liberia. So the government have now ran to the World Bank to ask for additional money. So the World Bank are committed to give Liberia $45 million for renewable energy. And the story goes, this $45 million, 20 million of that money will be spent on solar PV to boost all the energy sector, and the rest will go to the Mark Coffee power plant, where they will increase the megawatts from 88 megawatts to 129 megawatts. So the 20 million solar plant that they intend to build will have 38 megawatts. So to energy sector. So this news is welcoming, and the total amount on this that Liberia will owe World Bank on this will be $96 million. So if this happens, that means the 88 megawatts of current people receiving in the Monrovia and its surrounding the urban area, it will go up to 129. That is a boost for, I think, it will reach as far as Kakata and other places. So this news is welcoming. I don't know where your take on it.
Yeah, when we see something in the news like that, we've seen a lot, Paul, happening in past governments. When we had that the Saudi or the Kuwaiti were coming to build some couple of thousands of housing units for Liberia. It was in the news. We were welcoming. We were all happy. Yeah. I don't think after the press, I don't think you've seen one. I did not see any. That is not to discredit what the government is doing right here. It is to remind us that these things appear in the newspapers. It sounds so good. Liberians are yearning for this. This is bringing a lot of jobs to our people. When you're talking about development, you look at a couple of things, elements. I'll look at electricity, road network, and water, food. Those things are the basic things, necessity for people. Development can't go without electricity, can't go with road connectivity, can't go with water, and sanitation. So 45 million is a lot of money for Liberia right now. Well, these are MOU signed by the government to make sure that these monies are delivered, and I hope they'll be done accordingly, and we can all Liberians can benefit from. The government is taking us 6 months coming with these things. It's a good sign, Paul. We must applaud this. We must applaud it, but we must also be careful that after this will we see something else happening? Like, will these results come as we expect? Like more especially with regard to delivering the outcome. This is what we wish to have, because we've seen that in the past a lot of promises being done, published newspaper, press conferences, and at the end of the day nothing happens. We don't know the outcome. Whether it's the people that are giving the money got a different thoughts, or the government is not complying, or something has happened. So you should also know that we're going to be accumulating debt here. 96 million, give you 45 million, come out with 96 million. A lot of money you're going to be paying back. We're creating debts for next generation to come. So what we're doing here, we should be useful. We should be able to pay back in a dignified fashion, so we're able to accumulate debt or create debt for the next generation, Paul.
Right. And let me just clarify something. So the 20, that money, the $45 million, all of that money, there will be a solar project. That project they're going to generate 20 megawatt of solar PV. That is be like a mini solar farm project. That's also be then the rest now will be expanded to the Mark Coffee solar project. So the 88 megawatts will now be upgraded to 129 megawatt. So it's a good news, but as you just said, we have seen things like that before, and it never materialized in Liberia. So they always raise the bar, they lay for people hope, and then sometimes and maybe when the money enter in a lawmaker hand too, they will go have a retreat and then divide that money, and then we get absolutely nothing out of it.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. We hope that we also look at the terms when they're going to start these projects, and we are in dire need for electricity, more especially solar power energy, which is this is the talk of town. That's that's the norm of the day. Solar energy, and so it could be people can't afford in Liberia, Paul. So this renewable energy is also environmentally friendly. It's also good for the people. It's affordable. This is a good thing for our people. So we open arms today. It's a welcoming. We should appreciate it, and we wish the government well to bring more of these projects to our people, Paul.
We wish the government well. But something I want to bring up, Jamal, regards to the energy sector in Liberia. I always hear the thing say Liberia is a suffering nation, but Liberia, this suffering nation, is just one-sided. Why is this suffering nation can only take cue from one group of people? In recent time, Sierra Leone signed a contract with the Russian Federation. And what happened is Sierra Leone, they're going to build a nuclear power plant in Sierra Leone. That is something that Sierra Leone welcome. And when Malabio said, what is happening between the West and Russia, it have nothing to do with Sierra Leone. So he has, something.
I need to leave you. I got some technical problem on video, so I won't mind be joining you in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, so as what I was saying, this news that is from the newspaper is quite interesting to have the renewable energy sector been boosted by this amount, $45 million, which is good. And then they will have a 20 megawatt solar farm also. I don't know where they're going to put this the solar farm, but the 88 megawatt amount coffee will be extended up to 129 megawatts. and this is the news is welcoming. So what I was saying, I said, Jamal, welcome back. What I was saying, Sierra Leone, just a week ago, signed a contract with the Russian Federation to build their nuclear plant for power. And Malabio said that, oh, Sierra Leone is a sovereign nation. They can go and ask wherever their hand can reach. They're not taking side with no one. They're not in beef with anyone, as the children say in Liberia. And we now still going behind one group of people year in, year out, year in, year out, with living on World Bank, IMF. As a sovereign nation, is there ever time that Liberia can extend the olive branch to some other countries to help them in the energy area instead of running to World Bank every day, and they keep increasing huge tariff on this product that the generation unborn will suffer to pay back? It's just a thought. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, Paul. Do you hear me okay?
Yeah, hearing you.
Good, fine. Thank you. Thanks for welcoming me back. Paul, analytically, if you look at Liberia right now, Liberia has no choice. Liberia can only go to these various countries or World Bank to ask for a loan. It's just like when you're trusted to take a credit or get a credit card or a loan. They have they call it annual rate something. At the end of the year, you have to pay some interest. You know, they will get 40%, 14%. The companies come out with their how much you pay in terms of interest because you don't have an option, you don't have a choice. So you have to go for high interest or low interest. If you have your own money, if you want to buy something, I pay 30%. Consider, we'll do it in the UK or anywhere in Europe or outside Liberia, where we'll go to get a car, new car. They call it car finance in this country.
Yeah.
You go for car finance, your car could cost you £18,000. You put out 10,000 first. You got an opportunity to reduce the cost. But if you are to take it for 18,000 for how many years, you're paying £500 every month. That with a high interest on the poor. That's how it is, because you don't have an option. So if Liberia has options of bringing in energy, contracting companies, nuclear companies that will bring in, put some money up front or put a guarantee there that they can benefit if we default, then we had a chance to negotiate. As long as you don't have those power, those negotiating power, Paul, you are at the receiving end. We will continue to accumulate debts for generations if we don't have a means of negotiating. It's a the bargaining power we don't have. We need to have some way to talk. You can get the big mouth, but if you don't have nothing to support, it can't go anywhere. So if you see this guy coming to give up 45 million, after some years we pay 96 million, it's just because we can't afford to do it ourselves. If you listen now, if you follow what is going on in Liberia, they are carrying on what they call PPP model, private-public partnership. And that public partnership is because Liberia cannot afford for themselves. What they do, they ask companies to come into the country, do business, make sure your citizens are protected, make sure they don't overcharge them. We will support you to do business, but do it in a dignified way. That's the role the government plays. That's the way the government plays, because they don't have the means. They're coming to come and they are there to protect the consumers, which is the Liberians. The government is there to protect the consumer because he gave the chance. Those business will rip our people off. So what they do, the government come and say, look, we will give you an MOU, you do the contract, you do the job for us. We don't have the money to pay you. We may come in later, but start. But then we do on a PPP model, which is a private-public partnership. So at the end of the day, we'll pay you, or you'll pay yourself. But then be careful. Be very careful, because we don't want you to overcharge our citizens. We don't want any social unrest in this country. We want you to do it the dignified way. Get your money with smile, but don't overcharge them. But we need to also employ our people. Those are the conditions, part of the conditions government put in for these companies. So, but not country that have the money, the finance their own project. If you bring contractor, they'll tell you, do the job for us. We pay you. Start. After a couple of months, we'll pay you the money. You can negotiate. You got a term negotiating power because you put in money forward. You put in like 60 to 70 or 30% forward. Once you don't put any money forward, you don't have the power to bargain or negotiate your way out. So this is where we are with Liberia. We don't have the means
But Jamal, do we
Yes.
have to just stick with one group of people? We just depend on
What do you
just
mean?
one group.
What do you mean by one group of people?
Right. The thing is, I just gave example of Sierra Leone by going to the Eastern Bloc and
Yes,
getting
if you
rid
look
of
at Sierra Leone, Mother Bill, Paul, Mother Bill government has been a continuity. This is second term. He has laid the foundation, right? He laid the foundation. I mean, he is not the 100%. He has some issues himself at hand in his country. But if you look at it comparative to Liberia, he's been building that society. Later, you cannot run a government for the first 4 or 5 years of Sierra Leone. He laid some foundations. He created some credibility.
but what I mean, Madam Bill can come to the UK, Madam Bill can go to France, Madam Bill can go to
let me explain something to you. Yeah, let me explain something to you on this one. On the level of, I know you can go anywhere. You can only go to where you can negotiate. That's what I was just trying to say. Madam Bill can show to people in France, UK, US, or Russia too. This is what I have. You can deal with me. I'll build this. Trust me. This is a guarantee that you can do. I can guarantee you this is what, if you do this is what you're going to get. What do you have to offer from Liberia? You keep
what I mean, we've been told that yellow machine coming for Urugisi Mountain, for example, their cholesterol that you can use and go other places instead of keep going to one World Bank year in, year out. They keep adding more and more and more. There are other countries around the world. The Scandinavia, for example, they are one of the bigger donors for Liberia.
No, but you should know, if you look at it from the level of interest rate or what they give as an interest on this, World Bank seem to be much more flexible compared to countries, Paul. That's the reason, and they're willing to give.
The thing is, World Bank, now you get a BRICS nation are coming up.
Yeah, but they're all different discussion, Paul, with regard to what BRICS entails, what African leader want to get into BRICS, because you're not turning to Western countries, or you can look at it from a different perspective. But what I want to tell you with regard to Liberia right now, we don't have that power to negotiate, to go to many countries that will lend us money or borrow us money. We only think we can go to people that are easier way out for us. World Bank is willing to put in money for Liberia and give our conditions. They may be having a lower interest for us compared to other countries.
Have Liberia ever tried the other side? This is the question.
Yeah, we've been trying. We tried. Look, the last time we talked about going to, you guys are complaining here that Liberia went to Uganda or where other country to Ghana to get a bus and our low cost auditor or whatever bus we have. And that's another country because we couldn't afford. That's what we talked last night. Liberia cannot afford to buy for themselves, to go to places where they can get for free or they can get it for less a month. That's it, Paul. It's just a fact because you can afford. You need to go to where you can get it, and you've told the people you will deliver by any means necessary. You will deliver, and if you push them to the edge, they're bringing something to you to say, "Okay, we're bringing these things for you. We told you we're going to deliver. We're bringing. At least appreciate what we're bringing." What much about those who were there did not even give a sign that they would deliver?
People didn't force them. They decided say they were going to deliver. So they promised they made the people didn't force them. They decided they had the blueprint. So they cannot go and bring old thing and say, "Oh yeah," because we say we'll deliver. So you don't lie to the people on that level, and that one will not agree. So I'm saying the Eastern Bloc is there. They just as good as the Western Bloc. So why is it that every time I'm just putting this thing in context because I see what is happening around West Africa there, Senegal, how they call it, my favorite, Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast, and all of these countries around us, they seem to do something, but we just stuck one place. It's like you bury your head in sand one place, you refuse to lift up your head to look somewhere else. And this is the point I'm making. So what do you think if you talk to some other country on the other side, say, look, we're not going to give you a high interest on this. Maybe you get something that we like, and based on what we like, we can build this because you long been serving for power. We can build a nuclear plant for you that you have electricity probably off completely. So why just stick with one group of people and not one group of people where you just say, right, because we don't know how to negotiate. I agree with you. And funnily, when I listened to the Sierra Leone foreign minister, he was one of those people that we studied with when I was studying in Russia. When the Russians were giving West Africans scholarship, Sierra Leone was sending thousands of students. Liberia buried her head in the sand. They said 16.
At least we said 16. So what are those 16? Did you go back home to contribute?
I was about to go back home when the Civil War came and took my future away. That's the time we're saying, oh, the future will do this, and that future never came until we became pensioner. You see?
You stay in your 40s. How can you become pensioner? Oh, man. So you begin pension, you get a pension at the age of 40, Paul.
At the age of early retirement. So so this is the company that we had this dream. The 16 of us that went, when we go back, because we're going as specialists. Imagine when I left Liberia 1988 as a young man full of hair, porn right, all that. My role was to build airports, airport construction. So the 9 counties are going to have airport. And that Civil War king just took the dream away. So that was the future. We're looking up to the future never came. So that's the point I'm making. But this Sierra Leone foreign minister, he went to Moscow. And when this guy was speaking Russian, I said, wait a minute, let me look at this guy. It's somebody that we studied with.
Yeah, so, I was shocked when I saw you speaking Russian, and I was expecting you to speak English. You were delivering to them in the Russian language. That was very good. I mean, you were speaking to them in their own tone, in their mother tongue.
Yes, that man started there. You see, so it just shows that you don't look one side. When we go to the UN, when America said this, Liberia said this, we don't have our own independent mind or doing something. So something just not fundamentally wrong in our country. I mean, that's my view. We should look elsewhere. Look at the young man in Burkina Faso. What happened? The Russian gave them tractor for agriculture. That, oh, something you get here that we want. We should look elsewhere. We're crying. We can't even plant food. We can't even grow food. And somebody waiting to give it to you? Why not? The fight between America and Russia got nothing to do with us. Let's take advantage. And that's what Malabio is doing. So we see Burkina Faso is doing it. We know that France been after him. There's been counter coups recent time. What he did, he brought 300 Russian soldiers in to guard him. You have to look elsewhere. I mean, this is the point. I mean, I don't know how you see it, but I think we need to look elsewhere. We cannot be doing the same thing over and over, according to Mr. Cumming, and get different results.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. Paul, I think there's okay, I think Lucretia has a comment. This is what she said.
Corrupt lawmakers are taking all of our taxpayer money for themselves and leaving the country and citizens to suffer. Absolutely true, what she's saying here. And that's what I'm saying. That $45 million that World Bank going to give for the energy project, it may enter in the lawmaker hands again that will not even get. So something is just not right with that place. Something just not right. And this is, thinking about this, the renewable energy thing that these people are going to put money. If they're smart enough, that 20 megawatt of solar or plant that they're trying to build, which is, it can't even, the whole of Croydon here where I live, it can't even supply the whole of Croydon. That's for fact. So, while we cannot be innovative enough, a Joseph Boyka is running 190,000 vehicles. That 190,000 vehicles that he's running, it could get up 2 wind turbines that could supply the whole of Monrovia. I just mean, Nyomi Kaka Lorry running $80,000 vehicle. Think on it, the amount of lawmakers, there are 103 of them. The least is 45,000. Take that money and put it into wind turbine or something, or some solar farm. Small money. That between them, they will take 200 plus million and divide it. Take that money and put it into something to increase the capacity of my coffee. But they refuse to do that. So what Lucretia is saying here, she is right. They're greedy lawmakers. They just keeping the country down. And I don't know how you look at it. It get me angry when I don't know. Go on, Jima.
Yeah, I mean, you've said it. I think you're right about it. It's difficult, but the thing that the bottom line, Paul, is the bottom line is that we Liberians, more especially Liberia, the state it is in, we don't have the power to negotiate way out. So I keep saying that we are at the receiving end. Eventually, what happens, what comes to us, we receive it with good faith and move on. That's what happened to us in Liberia, because you can't provide for yourself. Whatever, something to put together, models and give it to you, you have to take it, even with our interest on it. And at the end, the other side of the ugly side of it, those who we think should be representing us are ripping us off on a daily basis. Like you said, you mentioned something that where the money, if you look what Ibrahim Traore, the president of Burkina Faso, who is using his car, he's been using it for years. I mean, he started using it as president. The money should be used for him. We took it to give it to farms, and our people want to stay and enjoy luxury, so they don't think about the serving our people. We saw it recently happen in the retreat in Bassa, Buchanan, when some good money was spent. And even the speaker we talked with representing people said that the state where something was shut down if the money is not being dispersed, all this stuff. And I mean, they make a threatening statement. Something will happen if these money have not been dispersed to the honorable House representing the senators. And when they can even go, some have been going. Other Liberians, civil servants, have been going hungry for months without pay, and they were going for a retreat, and their other entitlement have been delayed or denied for a couple of weeks, and now they are threatening to get the speakers giving threatening statement. I mean, it was shocking for me to understand that this is what happened. I mean, the sister is right. We will see these things happening. Our government will continue to tell us they're doing the right thing. When they get into power, I mean, the politicians get into power, we see some totally different thing. It's too early to see that these funds not being put in the right place. It really puzzled me, and I mean, many Liberians who believe that. I know it's difficult to. We don't ask you to be perfect, but do the right thing. This is what we're asking. It's not happening like that, Paul. It's sad indeed for us Africans, more especially for those who live here. And we see people in this part of the world, they're doing good things, and they are corruption, but not to the level that we see is too profound in our setting in Africa. We see that presidents, deputy ministers, all those people in top government officials are ripping off on a daily basis. What it says is go to bed without a square meal. It's sad.
It is sad. Anyway, based on that, Jamal, I think we can wrap up. We've been here over the 1 hour mark that was going to be on tonight.
Yeah.
And I think it was a good show tonight. So talk to us before we...
Now, I was just a quick thing. I was talking about qualification of the Fallout Massacre. Massacre qualification, because there's a group that this is a new public news that came out yesterday about the qualification of the director of the War Crime Code, the guy who is have to ensure that these War Crime Code are put in place. It's not a judge, but then a group of activists arguing his qualification, and now not only that credibility as a man to be leading this particular institution. The reason is we understand that he has represented some people, like more specific case in point is Agnes Taylor. He represented Liberia in a court who was supposed to, alleged to be, or believed to be part of the same war we are talking about. So he was one time a representative of those that are being involved in these crimes, so-called alleged crimes. So he represented one of them in court. So the group is saying that with that record, the president should have not appointed him as head of the War Crime Code to organize the War Crime Code activities in Liberia to be passed on to who should be taken care of. So his credibility and qualification has been questioned, Paul.
The credibility and qualification have been questioned. But So the issue with Agnes Taylor, you're not even part of the TRC report, and she's not one of those people. You're only a wife to the former president,
But
who
they
is
believe
not
that, oh, yeah, you're right. But Egnatilla have been saying in Mufti military uniform went around. If she didn't do anything, she was being escorted by her husband. So she was part of it. She might not be a part of the war crime, but she was part of the team that was involved in this. That's what the argument is. It's not like she committed any crime, but she was part of a husband to a wife to the president who was leading the situation that Liberians are saying that they brought out sufferings and killings of our people. So this is what they are saying. They're not saying that she committed a crime. They're saying that she represented he represented somebody. Jonathan T. Massacre represented somebody who have been the wife of the ringleader of the war in Liberia. That's the point they're raising here.
Yeah, they're raising a point. Then they also elected the actual wife of the president to be vice president. So some of the concerned people, so why they didn't vote against her?
No. It is that, but this that's a different thing. If you talk about that, we'll bring
I'm just saying the same people that are breaking this issue, they were able to elect Ellen Johnson, they were able to elect Prince Johnson, they were able to elect Joy Howard Taylor, Yaya Nimnet, all of these warlords. So this guy who only represented one of them, now the question who best suited for this job? Isn't that the same guy that were appointed as justice minister when at some point he withdrew his nominee?
Yeah, there are a lot of, I don't know whether he's a questionable character, but there seems to be too much of noise behind his appointment. Like when he was appointed justice minister, the case was withdrawn, his appointment was withdrawn. Now as the executive director of the War Economic Crown Court in Liberia, has also raised some eyebrows with regard to his representation in court of these people supposed to be, believed to be part of the crime or the war crimes. So it's something that are calling for his preferment to be withdrawn. So it's the activist sport that we're talking about. Too many activist advocates in Liberia compared to doing some tangible things. We are very good at criticizing and raising issues when we got other things that a lot of people are there. They should turn these activists most of these activists into humanitarian organizations, go out there and make sure how they can fetch food for other people to survive. There are many disabled people that need to survive, need to help them out. I mean, I'm not saying that it shouldn't be, but most of them are just a bunch of time wasting. They're raising issues. I'm not talking about this particular case, but they're raising issues that they shouldn't be raising issues. We've got too many people in Liberia that are really suffering right now, need this help of these activists and advocates. We've got other things to look into. But in any case, they have a right to argue the case, point that Jonathan T. Massacre, who is now the executive director of the World Economic Crown Court in Liberia, qualifications and credibility is questioned. That's the story from the New Republic newspaper.
Right. Okay. Any other thing before we wrap up?
No, that's it for tonight. I think we'll talk about the bosses as well, but that's just a little bit of it. It said new bosses like Yellow Machine as well. And so we'll talk about that in a subsequent platform, a show that'll come on Friday. We're trying to gather some details about these bosses that's coming from Ghana. So
this one is just a 419 story behind it now, because it's if they compare it as like the Yellow Machine, that means a 419 story behind the whole thing.
I can't question it. I can't comment on that. What I know of, we are still to gather some information regarding these new bosses that are coming to Liberia. Newspaper is saying this is sensational. New bosses like he said it like Yellow Machine. New bosses are like bosses new. They are news like Yellow Machines, like bosses. So the story should be is some like publicity for the government. We don't know, but we will give you details. We're getting our information from our sources on the ground, and probably on Friday, which will be our next edition. We'll be telling you more about these the bosses that come into Liberia. Where are they from? If they were acquired from the government of Ghana, how they were acquired, what they for? Because the question is, they came from Ghana. That's what we established as a fact.
Yeah. So that talk, there were 2-3 minutes about it. The detail is this boss said I've forgotten the name, but they were manufactured in Brazil.
In Brazil? I thought you said Sweden.
No, I got it wrong yesterday. They were manufactured in Brazil. it was a pilot project that they took to Ghana, and the initial project was 80 buses to try them out on the roads. And some guy decided to increase the number to 300 plus of those buses. But now, because they were suffering from spare parts and other things, that the Ghanaians could not run there no longer, costing them, so they packed it. And they were actually looking for a dumping site who could have taken these buses. And originally, they gave it to the local chiefs in those, because they call their places, not like our own, say we use counties and something. Their own, they call it the chief of this region. And the chiefs, they refused these buses because if the central government could not maintain them, then wait till a local authority will get money to maintain them. So that's why they had a pack. And then one country just next door that's suffering for transportation, and it came about, oh, we can repair some of the thing and just dump it to Liberia. So when it's dumped into Liberia, when they broken down there, just how when old ship come, it gets stuck on the Atlantic Ocean there, it just there, no one can move it. Seems nothing like that will happen because we don't have places that we can scrub these kind of vehicles. Right.
So the story, probably I got some story from the New Republic, which was published yesterday. I'll just quote the newspaper. It says the director, the National Transit Authority, NTA director. So there was a lot of noise about the buses coming to the country. So this is why he said, this is a story, quote the newspaper. They said, what is that? He has confirmed that 2 buses landed into the country already. And he said, this is what he said. He said, what was it again? 1 second. When they were bombarded by intense public criticisms, pressure, the National Transport Entity denied entering into any agreement with companies for purchase of 300 buses, as widely reported or insinuated. The NTA Deputy Operation Director, Noah Gibson, said the buses in question were in the country for testing purposes, but not on account of any contract or agreement with a particular foreign company. Yes, 2 buses, according to him, quoting now, yes, 2 buses are in the country, but we have not consummated any agreement, Gibson emphasized. In his words, it is true that NTA is looking at several options or agreements with several companies who are interested in getting involved in this private-public partnership. Gibson said the company in question, Marco Pololos is a Brazilian company based in Ghana. Yeah. It's one of the several companies that have expressed interest in doing business in Liberia with NTA. He told OKFM Morning Rise that NTA management saw it prudent to have requested the company to bring 2 sample buses into the country for testing to observe and assess their capability to ply here, considering the terrible road condition of the country. If there's a need for us to have them, we will now get into the agreement and tell the factory to manufacture the buses that will meet our road condition. He said, while denying that the entity brought in the country huge number of buses, there are plans on the way to bring in buses, but we are looking at every other option, most especially the one that will benefit Liberian people, he said. Mr. Gibson further disclosed that the NTA does not have the financial strength to purchase 300 buses, stressing that the NTA will enter into private-public partnership for the amount of the buses, just as the social media was awash with display of 285 yellow machines the government reportedly procured. So it is with several pieces of buses, which government fanatics are portraying as fulfillment of President Bouakar's promises to the nation. So the buses, to clarify, the buses you see, Paul, the NTA Deputy Director Noah Gibson has confirmed that 2 buses are in the country.
We know that there was ceremony they had at the Executive Mansion.
Yeah, this buses. Is what I'm saying. Yeah, they are saying that the company, the NTA Deputy Director is saying these buses are into the country for testing purposes. They're on a PPP, public partnership. That's what I was telling you today. As on a PPP model, you don't have a choice. They can bring anything to you. If you don't know how to negotiate, you don't have the bargaining power, anything can be pushed onto you. And the Brazilian company, according to the story, Brazilian company based in Ghana is bringing these to us, but they are interested in doing business with us. So they are bringing 2 buses to test the ground. If it's good for Liberia, they will manufacture something that will fit our road condition. But there's no 300 buses in the country. They have not signed an agreement, neither an MOU with any company or foreign company to doing buses in Liberia. So this is the clarity or the side of the story from the National Transport Authority in Liberia. So that's much more a clear story to me, Paul.
Yeah, a much more clear story. And I know Liberia, when a phone now one thing hit the fence, they know how to somersault. When it ain't Ghanaian television are not going to expose the thing, these buses are good. So it's almost like the yellow machine. So we know that we understand the terrain where they come from. Well, see, if you can have one senator run $80,000 SUV, that 80,000 can get at least 3 Tata buses that were used in the old days that suit Liberian road. If they really mean business, if they really serious to reduce transportation, no pricing minister should ride $80,000 car. The Noah Zawu Gibson, who yesterday were walking up and down, he now sitting now in $45,000 to $80,000 car. But then the NTA that he deputy director for does not even have one single bus that will move about. They got to go to Ghana. That the Ghanaian government the Ghanaian generally have to expose them that they bring in some old buses that they rebranded and sending to Liberia. Then everybody start talking now. The somersaulting. It's a full one now government, my brother. Let's move on.
Right. If you just join us, you'll be following our review of the local newspaper, the major newspaper in Liberia, and this is the button Liberia. If you join us, please make sure you share the show and also subscribe. Anytime we come on, you also have us. And we'll look at the major news that just to summarize, we're looking at the government of Liberia. The worth of the president Joshua Numa Barker worth $970,000 US. That's a worth that was reported by Liberia Anti-Corruption Committee or Commission, who reported that. And also have tonight we discussed was the $445 million US to be donated, or to be given by the World Bank to Liberia in line with renewable energy supply in Liberia. On that also we have Jonathan T. Massaquoi, now appointed Director General of the Economic Work Around credibility has been questioned, and the qualification also has been questioned for the fact that he represented somebody alleged to be part of the war in Liberia, so he shouldn't be. His preferment should be withdrawn. That was a group of advocates call for his removal. And we also have tonight, Liberians are making us proud. The athletes, Famble ran 10.13 100 meters. This is what he did for Liberia. This Famble with number, he's a Famble right here on the top, from my left, from my right, let's say from your right. So Famble he represents Liberia. He's the how you call it, the fastest man in Africa right now, 100-meter winner, African. He won this at the Africa Athletic Championship 2024 in Cameroon. Came first, putting Liberia on the first, win a gold medal. So those were the news. And also not forgetting, we also spoke about our able and Director General of Liberian Broadcasting System, Eugene Fagon. Eugene Fagon is in the news being summoned to be asked about Yaka Kolbai being asked to come and explain why the LBS is not giving CDC the chance to run their publicity on the national radio. So those were the news headline today from the Liberian local newspaper, major newspaper. There are many news we couldn't go through. We're picking up the most important one we can look into because of time. Probably next Friday, we'll go in more details of other stories that are making news. And wherever you join us from, we say thank you very much for joining us. And this is the Borderline Liberia. We are coming to you live from the mainland Europe. I'm Jamal Kamara, based in Manchester, United Kingdom, with my colleague Paul, the Lord Children Place, based in London. We also have our man, Lanefor Egon Gwe, who is in the Kingdom of Norway, as well as Francis Massacre, and not forgetting our boy, Lord Augustus Gartume. Augustus Gartume also is also in Germany. These are and our sister Lucretia Nelson, based in UK. These are the hosts and panelists also that are always on the show. So wherever you join us, thank you very much. We want to wish you a pleasant weekend. Paul, until Friday, what do you have to take us home with? Paul, you're muted.
Thanks to our audience for being with us. It was a fascinating show. The newspaper review show a lot, and we look forward to Friday. Tune in on Friday. We'll be back the same time, 7 o'clock Liberia time, 8 o'clock UK time, 9 o'clock Central European time. And on that note, Jamal, it was good being here again. I hope to see you in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, because when you disappear, we don't see you again.
In 2 weeks' time.
In 2 weeks' time. So
we'll take the break, and I will take you and say have a pleasant day. Thanks for being with us this evening.